Hello, it's me again, but as you've noticed, we're in a different part of my apartment. Today I'm gonna walk you through a dye day with me. I've got all these pots set up to do some dyeing. So, hi, I'm Katie. I live in Boston. I am a yarn dyer and a knitter. I run the business Claws Out Yarn Company, and I have a lot of stuff to dye this weekend. So I am doing a wholesale order for Boston Fiber Company, which is my favorite local yarn store. And I'm also working on filling up some orders for my latest collection, the That's Amore collection, which is inspired by the movie Moonstruck. So today I'm kind of going to do half wholesale order, half my orders. And you're gonna have to watch me do that. But first, I have a couple updates on the projects that I have been working on since my last video. So first, and most exciting to me, I think, is my progress on my sunset sweatshirt. It has a neck and a body. The body and neck are both finished now. In 2x2 ribbing, both of them. Ignore this, I ripped my fingernail off. And I started a sleeve. First I was doing the sleeve on magic loop because I couldn't find my shorter needles in the right size, but then I just ordered some and they're here. So now I'm actually zooming through this and I've done, let's see, this is how I like to keep progress on my decreases. So I've done, this is where it started. I've done 1, 2, 3, 4 decreases out of 12. I have long arms, as I've said in other videos, so I will be trying this on periodically with the sleeve to see how it fits on my arms. But look here, I can't even, all the way back here. Again, this yarn is Cursed Creator by Painted Fern Fiber Company. It's on their Marsh worsted base. So this, and the pattern is by Jessie May. I'm really, like, you can see the lighting is a little bit better in my kitchen and you can see how just delightful this is. So hopefully the sleeves are gonna just zoom right through and then it'll be done and I can block it and wear it. It's finally actually getting a little bit warmer outside here in Boston, but we're still having some cold days. This is also a, it's a looser gauge fabric. It's worsted weight, but it's on size 9 US needles, so it's flowy. You know, it's very flowy, so that's exciting. So I'll still be able to wear it probably into April, even May, if we get some cold days. So that is my first exciting update. This thing has a body. The body is done, and I tried it on, and it fits so well after that surgery that I did, that I talked about in my last video, which you should go watch. I had to do a bunch of surgery on it to make it fit because I didn't gauge swatch. Haha, I never do that. So that was totally my mistake. And then my second update on another sweater project is the Little Crystals sweater that I've been working on, which is all over color work. It's looking so good. Here she is. This one I am almost done with this section of the body. So there's all this beautiful color work. There's this star motif and then this, which mirrors here. And then for this piece, which I'm doing now, I basically am just repeating this stitch pattern. It's a 4-row pattern and I do it until I have about, the pattern says 9.5 inches. I'm probably gonna go until I have about 8.5 inches because I want this sweater to be oversized, but I don't want it to be super long on me. And I think I'm at about 7 inches now. So I only really need to do that stitch pattern maybe 2 more times, like another 8 rows, and then I can move on to a little bit more color work that's kind of more like this again, and then body ribbing, and then I'll be done with the body. This one is going to move, it's obviously moving slower than that other sweater, the red sweater, because that's just stockinette, and this one requires focus. but I love it. My floats also are looking really good. If you're new to knitting, floats are the back of your yarn, like the back of your colorwork project, where you're carrying the yarn in between. Trying to do this without it falling off my needles, but look at how nice they look. That's the back. And I love, like, I feel like I know that my floats look good when you can still see the pattern from the front in the floats on the back. Like here are those stars and there's other things. This part that I'm doing now just looks so cute. So those are my sweater updates. So obviously I'll be done with the sunset sweatshirt first, and then this colorwork sweater will get done when it gets done. This one is, the yarn is by Kate from Mezzo Makes. The colors are, this is from her Arrested Development collection. The colors are Mayoneg, Mayonegg, and A New Start. I'm not saying the other way that it's pronounced on camera. Anustart. Mayoneg and A New Start. Which are both beautiful. They're like semi-solid tonal colors that have a little variegation in them so that the sweater just looks so good. And also last week I talked about when I was filming that video, I was going to meet up with some friends to go knit at a brewery, which we did, and it was really fun. And I was like, oh, I'm just gonna start a pair of socks while I'm out there. And I did. So actually this matches my nails perfectly. Nice. This yarn is from Spun Right Round, and it's called Parakeet Feet is the colorway, which is really cute. I've had this in my stash forever. So I'm trying to work through some of my older sock skeins because I have so many of them. And then this pattern that I'm making is what's the name of it? The Vestigial Sock pattern by Hedgehog Fibers. It's a free knitting pattern. You can find it on their website or on Ravelry, really easy. And it's basically just like a 2x2 broken rib situation. And I have a couple other pairs of this pattern that I've made for socks that I wear all the time because I think they're fun, but they're not like distracting. It's really good pattern for variegated yarn like this because, ooh, the sun's out. Because it shows off the color really well. It's not like too busy to have. It's not too busy of a pattern for like really variegated color. So, and it matches my nails perfectly. So I am going to put some water in my dye pans and put away all these projects that I'm just stacking on my counter. And we can get to dyeing. So today the colors that I'm dyeing are for my wholesale order, which is going to be variegated colors in those pans. I'm doing my bestseller, Local Coffee Chain, which I'm putting here, which is inspired by Dunkin' Donuts, the, flagship coffee chain of Massachusetts. Today I'm drinking from a coffee from a locally owned shop, but so I'm doing Local Coffee Chain, and that will all be going to Boston Fiber Company. And then in these pots back here that I'm filling with water right now, I am going to be doing La Bella Luna from my That's Amore collection, which is a beautiful blue, and Somebody Tell a Joke, which is also from that collection and is a nice dark olive green. So that's the plan. And then if I have time and if I have energy, I'm going to do another round of color on top of that, another whole set. The way that my kitchen is set up, I can do 8 variegated skeins at once and 6 tonal semi-solid colors at once, skeins. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing today. So the way that I like to do a full dye day like this is I like to do my tonal colors first so that I can get them going on the heat and then just kind of work that in because I like these to be on the heat the longest so that they have the most time to really cook. So I'm going to start with Somebody Tell a Joke, which is dark green. I'm not revealing my dye secrets. I really love color formulation. It's always so satisfying when you match something to your inspiration like right away, or if it takes you a couple tries. When I was trying to make one of the blue for this collection, which I'll be doing later, I was like, wow, that looks great, that looks amazing, and then I was like, oh, that's exactly the same as a color that I made in one of my last collections. So it's trial and error. I was like, oh, I love this combination of dyes together, and then I was like, right, of course you do, because you literally did that already. So yeah, so we're gonna get this into the pot. So for my tonal colors, I set them up on a hot plate over here on one of my counters, whereas the variegated pans, because they're big and rectangular, go on the stove. Someday I'll get more hot plates, but right now I just have one. So here we go. I also got these yellow zip ties to distinguish my worsted weight base from all my other bases, because when it's wet and stuff, and when it's just like out of the package, it looks just like my DK base, and I needed a way to tell them apart. So worsted weights get their own special color. All right, and then this is where the magic happens. Bam, green. This is quite like a shoulder and back workout, which I didn't really know before I started doing this. And if I was doing this all the time, like if this was my full-time job, which it's not, oh, I'd be so jacked. I also probably have a more efficient system. But yeah, so then I just turn the heat on. I'll go grab a lid for that, and I'm just gonna literally let it cook. Okay, so now I'm going to repeat the process for La Bella Luna, which is the blue. I just mixed up the dye. I also just want to say, I'm all hunched over because the camera's not tall enough. Don't use me as like, ooh, I'm gonna start dyeing, so I'm gonna see what Katie's doing. I'm not an expert. I do what works for me, and I do what works best, but I just really was self-taught. I'm just not the authority, so go watch like Chem Knits or something, because they actually know what they're doing over there, and I don't. So here we go. So this is a blue, like a night sky blue, and this dye actually has a little bit of green in it, because if you look at like a dusky night sky, it's actually a little bit green. My mom and a couple generations before her are all painters and visual artists. So I've grew up around color theory. So that has really come in handy now that I'm doing this. Yeah, turns out the night sky, like right at dusk, right when the moon is coming up, has a little green in it. All right, so that's gonna cook, and I will show you how I do my variegated skeins. Yeah. Okay, so this one I have moved me over by our stove. Actually, I still have to get these pans wet, but this I'm gonna make local coffee chain, so I use 2 big like squeezy bottles. This one I can do in my sleep. I have dyed well over 100 skeins of this color. Is my most popular color. It's for Dunkin' Donuts and it's for lesbians. It's the best. And no, I'm serious, the lesbian flag looks like this. Okay. So I love this one. So with this order, I'm gonna be done with like half of the skeins that Boston Fiber Company ordered in this colorway, which is exciting. So let me put you down and I'll come back when the pans are soaking because I forgot to do that. So here are my 2 squeezy bottles. And here we go. So both of these pans will be the same color. Ugh. So that's the pink. And here's the orange. Oop. Got some orange on the counter. My bad. And then turn the heat on, and there we go. And then I just kind of I will literally just let that cook. So that's all cooking, and then in the meantime, while that cooks, I have to take all of these skeins that are from the last dye day I did, and I have to wind them and label them. These are also from That's Amore orders, and then it's like 60 degrees today in Boston, so I am going to put my drying rack out on the porch, and this yarn that I'm dyeing right now will actually get to like enjoy the nice air and the sunshine. So that's my like in between dyeing plans, because really once it's on the heat, I don't have to be paying attention to it all of the time. So I am gonna do that. So on this drying rack we have Sweetheart Liquors and 3 other colors. I don't have a fancy winder of any kind, I just do them all by hand. So I also write all of my labels by hand, which is not a practice I'm going to do forever. But but I'm still small enough right now that this is what's going on. So if you ever order yarn from me, I have touched it in a million ways, which I'm actually very proud of. There you go. That is a twisted and labeled skein of Sweetheart Liquors. Yeah, I should probably get some sort of label printing situation. I have one that prints my shipping labels so that I can attach them to people's packages, but I haven't figured out the best way for me to do something for my actual yarn labels. I'm trying to talk and remember all the details about my bases at the same time. Just kidding, I have them memorized. Just, you know, when you're like saying something out loud and then writing something different and then you accidentally write what you were saying with your mouth. I'm trying not to write label printer on any of these. Okay, I'm gonna go check on the yarn over there. Here's another colorway. This is La Boheme from the That's Amore collection. I labeled these Sweetheart Liquors, so now it's time for this one to get labeled. This is basically what my dye days look like. In between doing the actual dyeing, I'm also doing the administrative stuff for the rest of the business. So I'm labeling these so that I can get them into orders that need to go out. And then when I'm done, they will go in the cabinet in my yarn room where all my yarn lives until it's ready to be shipped. I am almost done dyeing everything, I think, for that collection, and then I just need to compile all the orders, but I'll have to double check a couple of them just to make sure, and I have to factor in the sock sets that people have purchased as well. So that's what I'm doing for the rest of my afternoon. So I labeled all of these, and now we're going on a field trip to the yarn office. I can show off my really exciting yarn cabinet. So let me turn you around. Sorry about this angle. All right, here she is. So all of my That's Amore yarn lives on this top shelf. So these ones go right in here. Let's see. There we go. So this is Sweetheart Liquors, which I'm also dyeing. This is Somebody Tell a Joke, which I'm also dyeing. And then this one is La Bella Luna, which I'm dyeing. So even this beautiful shelf. I mean, that's where I keep my bear yarn. That's a mess. Don't look at that. And then I have my Swift, the rest of the office. And then that is the chair where I film my other videos, which is currently occupied by my label printer and some yarn that I ordered. Yeah, that's my yarn room. I'm not showing you the messy parts. This is that local coffee chain that I'm dyeing in those other pans, and these are 2 other colors from the collection that Boston Fiber Company wants. So at some point this week, I will also wind and label these so that they are ready to go to the shop. Now I get to do the fun part, which is I basically rinse everything out. See how that water is pretty clear? This colorway never runs completely clear because it's kind of a pain in the butt. So I'll rinse this with cold water so that it stops steaming. And then I will dump this out, which I can't do while holding my camera. And I will put this yarn back in this pot with some wool-friendly soap so that I can really get any excess dye powders out of it. And then that will eventually get truly rinsed. All the soap will get rinsed off, and then it goes on the drying rack out on the porch. So nothing is on heat anymore, so I am rinsing everything out. Everything has been in a soap bath for a little while. So I might as well just show you how I rinse stuff. The point of the rinsing, I already did this one, is to make sure that the excess dye is gone and also that the soap is out of the yarn. So that's kind of the point. So I have to do that, and I do that individually for every single skein. So I'm going to show you like one or two, but I do it for every skein that I dye ever. Yeah, it's great. So now I have to go and do that 11 more times for all the other yarn that I dyed, and then it can go on the porch. And as you can tell behind me, it is a beautiful, sunny St. Patrick's Day parade day here. So honestly, it might dry really fast outside, which would be really nice because I haven't been able to dry yarn outside since like October because it was too cold and it was all freezing, which is, turns out, not good for your yarn if it's freezing while it's outside. So yeah, so I'll see you when everything's going on the porch. Okay, I'm outside. Moxie is there looking at us. People are a little feral outside today because it's actually like in the 60s. It feels so good to be out here. So I'm gonna put on my yarn. That's all of the local coffee chain. I'm gonna turn this around. And do the tonal colors. All right, that is everything. And now I'm going to spend the rest of my afternoon hanging out, knitting, going out to dinner later, so just gonna get some other stuff done before I do that. Thank you for following along on my nice spring dye day.